Okay. So I remember about this same time last year, nilikuwa niko naandika goals kwa ajili ya mwaka huu 2018. And one of the things ambazo nilikuwa nimepanga kufanya kwenye mwaka 2018 ni kusoma vitabu 20. So that was a particularly interesting challenge to me kwa sababu I was just from setting another goal the previous year kusoma vitabu 10 last year. And so nilikuwa nimetoka tu kwenye kusoma vitabu 10 and I didn't know I could do that at the time. And so that was an interesting challenge kwa ajili ya 2017. So kuingia 2018 I thought, okay, why not just double it and see how far you can go. Yeah, so one of the goals ambazo nilikuwa nazo kwa ajili ya mwaka 2018 ilikuwa ni kusoma vitabu 20. Okay, so I have to admit at the time I didn't think I could do it. Lakini I thought, you know, if you shoot for the stars, maybe you might just land on the cloud. Kwa hiyo I was like, okay, so let's try 20. Alafu if I can even do 15, I'll even if I do 11, that would be good enough because it would be an upgrade from the previous goal ambayo nilikuwa nimeset. So that was interesting enough. And so kuanzia mwanzo wa mwaka 2018 I set on a journey kusoma vitabu 20. And so month after month nilikuwa najaribu kusoma lakini I have to admit I kept on falling off the wagon. Kuna wakati nilikuwa nashindwa kabisa kusoma any book. I would go like a whole month without reading any book at all. Sometimes I'd even do 2 months and then I'd come back and try and rush to read labda vitabu viwili vitatu at a go. Lakini later on I came to discover kwamba what I was missing was actually quantification, and this is what I really want to talk about in this video. Okay, so recently I've been watching this guy Jim Kiwk, and he has a lot of talks on like how to work on your memory, namna ya kufanya self development, namna ya kukumbuka vizuri zaidi na vitu kama hivyo. It's quite interesting the things he talks about. And one of the things ambazo ali point out ni kwamba it's very possible kwa mtu yote ambaye anasoma at a normal reading pace kumaliza kitabu kwa wiki moja. So at the time nilikuwa nafikiria like, okay, so one book a week, and he does some calculations ambazo zilikuwa quite interesting kwa sababu he boils it down to how fast a normal reader can read per minute and on average how many words a regular book inakuwa nazo. Alafu anaangalia like how much time would you have to put aside kila siku ili kuweza kumaliza kitabu kimoja kwa wiki. Now at the time sikuifikiria sana and I had other things to do lakini came November I checked my list of the things ambazo nilikuwa nataka kuzimaliza and realized kwamba I was actually about 5 books away from finishing my goal. So I thought, okay, so I've been going on and off. I haven't been consistent. At some point, nilikuwa nimesha give up that point ya kusema okay, maybe I might be able to finish 20 books this year. Of course, a task ambayo I'm sure some of you mnaweza mka burn through like quite easy. Lakini to me, that was like a learning experience. And so I went through the list and found kwamba if I was able, if somehow ningeweza kusoma these 5 books between November and December, then I could accomplish my goal. I got excited and I thought, okay, so what if I do want to finish this goal? What if it's possible kumaliza this goal? And so I went back to that video and checked out some of the stuff ambazo alikuwa anazisema. So kwenye metrics ambazo alizitoa, ali mention kwamba if you can consistently read kwa dakika 45 kila siku, then you have a good chance ya kumaliza kitabu kimoja kwa wiki. And so I did my math. Ilikuwa ni the last week of November, so that would mean kwamba I have about 4 weeks December and 1 week November. That's about 5 weeks. And I thought, okay, so maybe I can try that. I went in, I tried it for the first week and failed miserably kwa sababu I kept on looking at the watch kwamba 45 minutes bado, and it just became this burden kwamba 45 minutes down na nini. I wasn't prepared psychologically to take on this task, and so I failed again. Right after that I thought, you know, I went back and thought, okay, so how do you actually get to read easy 45 minutes? To me, time is very sensitive, yani nikifikiria like this is the amount of time ambayo natakiwa kutumia to actually read na nini, it feels crammed and I feel like I'm pushed. Kwa hiyo I can't really perform as good as I would in other tasks. At about the same time, I started reading about this theory of quantification. Kwamba the best way to actually get yourself to do something is to be able to see how much you're getting out of it. Kwa hiyo kama ukiweza kumeasure just how much you're doing at a time and how much you're getting from it, then inakupa incentive ya kujaribu kujidrive na kujipush kuweza kufanya that thing more effectively. I use a Kindle kusoma, and I noticed kwamba at the very bottom pale naweza nikawa na track percentage ya kitabu ambacho nimesoma. Kwa hiyo like how much I've read percentage wise. I told myself, okay, so nitajaribu kusoma 10% every day, and it doesn't matter how much time it takes me. I could read it labda throughout the day. I could read maybe 2 minutes asubuhi. I just freed myself from zile constraints za muda wa dakika 45 specific. What happened then, nikajikuta kwamba I become more efficient. I actually want to do 10% every day. So for the first day I started reading Kitabu cha Grant Cardone, kinaitwa the 10x rule. Must read sana. Yani kwa anyone ambaye anataka kuwa like successful, go try it out, kakisome. He has some really good concepts in there. And so what I did was nikaanza tu kitabu ukisoma 10%, and then like one day nasoma 10%. And what I figured was if I can do 10% in one day, that would mean kwamba I can do 100% in 10 days. Now granted sitaweza kufikia that goal ya one book a week, lakini I would at least be able to go 70% a week, and then 100% in 10 days, which would get me close enough to my goal, which was better than doing nothing. Another thing ambacho kilinimotivate sana was I was reading more on quantification, and one of the things ambazo watu walikuwa wanaongea quantification wakisema ni kwamba you have to be able to track how much you're actually doing. And so they gave recommendations za apps kadhaa, which is something ambacho we'll be featuring in our next episodes. And one of the apps ambazo walizi mention is this app called Toggle. And I had a similar app actually zamani, inaitwa Hours. And what it basically does is it has a play button, you push play and it starts recording the time tangu ulivyo push play mpaka utakapo stop. Kwa hiyo you label that time frame. Kwa mfano unaweza kusema okay, right now I'm reading. Kwa hiyo I'd hit play and then I'd say I'm reading, and I'd specify kwamba I'm reading a certain book, and then in the end of the day inakuja kuambia like just how much you've been using your time. The reason I was doing this was for a more general purpose, kwa sababu nilikuwa najaribu ku track just how much time I'm putting into the things I do. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa every time nikifanya task fulani I just push play, I check how much time I'm dedicating to something before I move on to another task. And the results were amazing, like amazing. Kwa sababu I got to see just how much I spend my time like every single hour of the day, just by pushing play. Nikienda kabla ya kwenda kulala I push play, nasema okay I'm going to sleep, and then I wake up, I push stop, and then I push play on another task kwamba labda okay sasa hivi naenda kuoga au labda kupiga mswaki, and then sasa hivi naenda kumtembelea rafiki yangu. I just push play, and then I kept on recording these times for like a week, and I noticed kwamba I got to see exactly how I'm spending my time every single day, and that was mind-blowing. So I could revise it almost like a paper. Like I could see kwamba kumbe natumia more time kwenye kufanya hichi, and I could reallocate my time more efficiently. So back to the book. So one last thing ambacho kilindrive zaidi is also back from huyu bwana Kiwk, ambaye alisema kwamba try to make your reading sessions as important and as valuable as labda your eating sessions or your sessions with friends and family, like an actual task that you have to do. So what I used to do zamani ni kwamba ningepanga kwamba okay nitasoma leo, and then I would do everything else ambavyo vinaenda throughout the day. So I do tasks kwenye quadrant 1, I do tasks kwenye quadrant 3 na kwenye quadrant 4, and then I would completely ignore easy tasks za kwenye quadrant 2. And so what I realized ni kwamba I was putting away all this quadrant 2 stuff, alafu I was like kwanzia asubuhi hadi usiku I would do everything else except reading. Alafu right before I go to bed I would take my book, afu nitaanza kusoma haraka, then I'd fall asleep halfway. And that was where the inefficiency came from, kwa sababu what Kiwk was saying ni kwamba ukiweka kama actual task ambayo inabidi uifanye kama kula au labda kupiga mswaki au kwenda kwenye appointment, kwenye meeting fulani, then you try and make sure kwamba you go through it mpaka uimalize. And so what I did was ile asubuhi, right when I'm going to prep stuff for like my morning routines, I would start reading while I'm prepping for those things. And so automatically nikaondoa that possibility ya mimi kulala through like the reading session, because it's something that I have to do. And so in the beginning it got very, very difficult actually, because I was basically changing my habits, and that's always uncomfortable.
What is this? There's something wrong with the house. I don't like change.
Kwa hiyo nikaanza kuwa najipush kwamba okay, in the morning I read 10% before starting the day. and then nikawa na track every time nafanya hivyo. And now the funny thing ambacho nikuja kufind ni kwamba every single day ambayo nilikuwa nafanya hivyo, when I add up all the time ambayo ilikuwa inanichukua, it took me about 45 minutes. So that was like, oh, okay, so I'm literally doing the same thing just in a different way. Percentages are more appealing to me than minutes, apparently. I discovered that in the process. So another thing I discovered, baada ya kwenda siku ya kwanza and painstakingly kwenda siku ya pili na siku ya tatu na siku ya nne, by the time nafika siku ya 7, when I was hitting that 70%, nilipomaliza 70%, nikajikuta nimeingia kwenye zile pages za grocery na index pages za kwenye kitabu. So effectively nilikuwa nimekimaliza kitabu by 70%. And I thought to myself, oh my god, kumbe ninavyofikiria kwamba 10% kila siku itachukua 10 days. Actually kuna boilerplate pages ambazo zina content ambazo you can just skim through. Kwa hiyo nikajikuta kwamba zile content za kwanza, kwa mfano the page ya preface, page ya introduction, page ya contents, they take up about 30% of the book. And so by the time you get on the 7th day, you're already done with the book. So you can just skim through the rest of them. Because most of them are indexes and a reference, like other books, and a reference, talk about like the authors, naongelea kuhusu labda inspiration, labda prologue, au epilogue, na vitu kama hivyo. And so I was effectively done with the book in actually 7 days. And I got psyched. I got really, really, really excited. Nikaanza the second book, which I'm reading now in this week. And I discovered yet another thing, kwamba your 10% actually varies with the book. Now, the original book I was reading was like 300 pages. And so 45 minutes every day, 10% per day. Ikawa inanipeleka at a pace ambayo ilikuwa, okay, kwa kuanzia ilikuwa ni ngumu, lakini ilikuwa almost natural kuimaliza like your 10% per day. So if you do the math, 10% ya 300 pages is actually 30 pages. Kwa hiyo kila siku nilikuwa nasoma tu 30 pages and then I'm done. And then for the next day I'll do another 30 pages, another 30 pages. By the 7th day najikuta nimeshamaliza the whole book. Or at least nimeshamaliza a larger chunk of the book. So when I started the second book, I realized kwamba it was a bit smaller kuliko kile cha kwanza. And so I think it was like 150 pages or something like that. Kwa hiyo nikajikuta kwamba I don't have to do 30 pages per day. The 10% just translated back to 15 pages per day. That meant kwamba kama ningetaka, and of course I'll explain this in a minute, ni kwamba kama ningetaka ningeweza kujipush kuweza kufanya 30 pages a day ili niweze kukimaliza in half the time. So in like 3.5 days ningekuwa nimesha kimaliza kile kitabu. Except there's a twist, kwa sababu apparently when I told myself kwamba I can do 10% of a book a day, somehow my mind got locked into that idea. I've been struggling so hard this week kujaribu kufanya 20% per day, lakini I've been constantly struggling kwa sababu somehow nikifika 10% my mind tells me, that's about it. And I leave the book. And so I've been doing that this is my 6th day. And I've been doing that constantly, telling myself, okay, I'll do 20% today. Lakini I fail at the 10% mark. Like right when I get to 10%, I just stop, and I can't go on. And so that's also goes to show kwamba limitations are actually set by yourself. Kwamba the limitations ambazo nilikuwa najiwekea mimi mwenyewe kwenye upande wa how much I can do, ndio the limitations ambazo nilikuwa najiconfine to. Kwamba my abilities zikawa zina match what I say about myself. That was mind-blowing pia. Kwa sababu to this time, like to this day, bado I'm still struggling to break that 10% mark, sababu nilijiambia na nikajiaminisha, and so it became. Kwa hiyo right now my challenge ni hiyo, kujaribu ku break from the 10% to the 15% out to the 20% mark and so on. So takeaways ya experience ambayo nimekuwa nayo for the past few weeks ni kwamba, so one, you can definitely do more than what you think you can. I know for a fact I can definitely do more than what I allow myself to do. Kwa hiyo kwa mfano, when I did the math, I found kwamba if you can, with the 10%, if you go to like 10 days, that would mean kwamba you can finish one book in 10 days. So if you stretch that to a year, labda mwaka mmoja una siku 365 or so, that would mean kwamba unaweza kumaliza vitabu 36 2.5, give or take. And if you consider kwamba 30% of the book is actually boilerplate, basi unaweza uka narrow that down to 7 days. And so kwa 7 days, you say maybe a week, and a year has 52 weeks. That means you could finish 52 books in a year. And that is something that I probably should have to look towards next year. Now, obviously, you have to consider kwamba every book is different. Kuna vingine vina pages of moja, kuna vitabu vingine vina pages 300, 200, vingine page 50. And so how long it will actually take you, it depends on how big the book is. Lakini, what this 10% thing does ni kwamba it just neglects the fact that you have that many pages in a book. And so unaweza ukajikuta unaenda an unreasonable maybe 100 to like 300 pages a day ambayo it's its own challenge in a way. Lakini in the end of the day, it doesn't really matter kwamba unasoma pages ngapi kwa siku. What matters ni kwamba you have certain goals and you find ways to accomplish them. That's mainly what I've learned kwenye hii experience yangu. Another thing ambacho nimejifunza ni kwamba we put up our own limitations. Hiki kitu hata mimi nilikuwa naisema for a while before it happened to me, na kama nikajiumbua mwenyewe ni kwamba I keep on saying kwamba, you know, what you say and what you believe actually comes to pass. Kwa hiyo reality is our perception of it. Kwa hiyo ukiamini kwamba I can only do 10 pages a day, then you really can only do 10 pages a day. If that's what you believe, then that's how you'll go. Mimi sasa hivi naamini kwamba I can do 10% a day, and that's what I'm doing. 10% a day. Nikijaribu kwenda 11%, nikijaribu kwenda 12%, my mind inaniambia that's not something I'm able to do, because nilishajiwekea these constraints in the beginning to begin with. Unaona? Kwa hiyo that's another thing ambacho nimejifunza. Lakini as always, I want to thank every single person ambaye anaendelea kusupport this channel. Over the past days, nimekuwa naongea na baadhi ya watu ambao wamekuwa affected with the wamepata positive effect from the content ambazo we put out. Kwa hiyo thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, tutaweka a subscribe button hapo juu, the circle button. Click that to subscribe. At the bottom tutaweka a recommendation video ambayo labda you haven't seen that maybe you might learn from ukienda kuisoma. At Nyayo Zangu, we are all about sharing experiences and opportunities. Every single opportunity ambayo tunaiona, we share it with you guys, and we hope kwamba you can continue with that tradition ya kushare experiences na opportunities mbalimbali. So thank you very much. Subscribe, like, share, tell people kuhusu this channel, people ambao you think might benefit from this channel. The books ambazo nimezisoma so far this year, I'll put them kwenye description. Maybe I'll leave you with this tip. This is something from Quick tena. People have gone through different experiences throughout their lives, wameandika vitabu, and so all the knowledge ambazo wamezipitia kwenye experiences zao za kuanzisha makampuni, za kuanzisha biashara, za kubadilisha tabia zao, za kuishi na furaha, za kuondokana na huzuni, labda za kuondokana na upweke na vitu kama hivyo. All this knowledge wameziweka kwenye vitabu. And you reading a book is actually something like pushing a download button and basically downloading all this knowledge to your brain and trying to see what you can do with that knowledge. And so I'll leave you with that tip. Reading books and actually exploring any form of knowledge ambazo zimewekwa put forth by some other people ambao wametangulia is actually just you acquiring that knowledge without you having to go through the experience. And so you can learn a lot from that actually. Till next time. Peace. Thank you Guy Woods na Walento for following us on Twitter, and thank you Ryan for following us on Instagram.